How pivotal is this moment in the region?
This is sort of the Super Bowl of what I do. You either win the Super Bowl or you lose it. Why do I say that? So much is at stake in such a short period of time. I've been working for 2 years, try to find a way to call the question on Iran. This region will never stabilize, will never move toward the lightness away from the darkness until the Ayatollah is dispatched. Either he changes, which I don't think will happen, or he's replaced. So the Abraham Accords are very much at risk right now. The United Arab Emirates took a leap of faith. They jumped into the deep end of the pool in the first Trump term. They normalized with Israel. They made a bet that the region's going in a new direction, that it's all about economic prosperity, conservative Islam, but conservative Islam constructed in a way to grow the community, the way to grow business, the way to be part of the world. This is a religious conflict between the forces of darkness in Islam and most Muslims. What Al-Qaeda, ISIS, the Ayatollah have to offer is a very harsh world where there's only one way to worship God, and anybody who disagrees has no place in society. That world I want to prevent.
Does that mean you're not optimistic about the talks happening in Geneva?
I'm trying to warn people these forces have a vote, October the 7th. For 2 years, I went from Riyadh to Jerusalem under Biden's watch with Tony Blinken and Jake and all these guys, Brett McGurk, trying to get Saudi Arabia to normalize with Israel. The biggest prize in the region is Saudi Arabia. It's the keeper of the two holy mosques. It's the center of the faith in the world. So MBS has shown a willingness to move the country in a new direction. Conservative Islam, yes, but business.
I mean, didn't the war in Gaza put a halt to that ambition?
This is what October 7th is all about. So he has made a bet internally with the 2030 vision to modernize Saudi Arabia. We were doing really well. There was going to be a rollout of the framework of the agreement between Israel and Saudi Arabia, maybe at the end of October of 2023. We're getting close. October the 7th was designed to stop efforts to normalize between Saudi and Israel.
So Hamas pulled the plug.
Yeah, with Iran. Iran's worst nightmare is for the Arabs and the Jews to make peace and move toward the light. So October the 7th was timed, I think, to stop the momentum, and I think it worked, at least in the short term. For 2.5 years, we've been, ever how long it's been, we've been dealing with the aftermath of Gaza. Israel, in my view, had to take on Hamas differently after October the 7th. It had to be total victory, kind of like Germany and Japan. That's created a problem for Israel. There have been a lot of people killed. Israel, in my view, had no choice. Hamas with arms means you'll never have peace. So we're at an inflection.
And to the rest of the world, it looks like a genocide.
Yes. So therein are the two screens. In Israel, we were wrong to trust the Palestinians at all. We'll never do that again. In the Arab world, how can you side with Israel? They're killing all our people. That was designed by Iran to be the two the two images. My goal is to go back to one image. So Saudi Arabia is now moving backward. They're attacking the United Arab Emirates pretty viciously for being in the Abraham Accords.
Well, they say it's because of Sudan and Yemen.
There is no good reason for this. You can have disputes about Sudan and Yemen, but they're basically declaring war.
So this is all about Israel in your mind?
I don't know what this is about. I know the consequences that MBZ, the president of the United Arab Emirates, is going to meet him. You could not ask for a better partner. You could not ask for a better partner than the United Arab Emirates. They've stuck with the Abraham Accords through Gaza. I'm here to get everybody back together on the big prize. The big prize is for the Iranian regime to be replaced by people that don't want to blow us all up and kill everybody all the time. If you can pull that off, then Israel, Saudi Arabia becomes a reality.
So Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and other Gulf countries have said repeatedly, at least publicly, that regime change in Iran is not something they want to see simply because of the fallout. Are you saying they feel differently behind closed doors?
I am saying that that is a short-sighted view of the problems you face over here. You've got domestic problems, so do I. I got domestic problems. It's probably better for me to be at home than it is here. So I don't have a lot of tolerance anymore for people having to make uncomfortable decisions, because I have to make them all the time. So I'm going to go to Saudi Arabia after I meet MBZ, and I'm going to hear what it's like for him to be under this attack and see if we can stabilize things. People say they don't want regime change. Well, you're crazy. If you want this regime to survive, then you need to do some soul searching.
When you see these talks happening in Geneva, they're very focused, obviously, on the nuclear side of things.
So,
they're not talking about Hezbollah. They're not talking about Hamas.
They're not talking about. So if you can, what is a good deal now? I think the only deal that will stand the test of time in history is give Iran a new start. It's not about the nuclear program.
Do they need a Venezuela moment?
What we need is a moment kind of like in 1989, where the Soviet Union collapses and it opens up opportunity for peace and prosperity. I consider this.
How does that moment not get hijacked as it did in Russia by Vladimir Putin?
So there are two moments. One, to have it fall. Second is to maintain it so it doesn't go backward. We're not there yet. I'm focused on the first one.
Yeah.
So when I hear from the region, we worry about instability. If the Ayatollah survives, you will have all the instability you need for 1,000 years. Because he withstood America, he stood up to all of us, the entire West, and stood us down. So Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, they're going to be on steroids pretty soon. And how do you build on the Abraham Accords if the Ayatollah is still standing? You can't build on them, they collapse.
So Saudi Arabia, in your mind, there's still an opportunity for them to be part of the Abraham Accords.
Yes. The big prize over here is for Saudi Arabia to go back to its original vision. Now, I don't believe MBZ has lost confidence in his vision. He's withstood a beating, and he's still confident that his vision of modernizing the economy, doing business with the world, opening up the United Arab Emirates to investment, creates a better life for his people. And he can do that as a conservative Muslim.
He can also do that with a smaller population than Saudi Arabia has.
Yeah. But the point is, he has not lost confidence in what he wants. The question for me in Saudi Arabia, do you still have confidence in your original vision? I hope so, because it was a good vision.
They're going to turn to you and say, oil prices at 60 doesn't help us. And we know that that's part of what got President Trump elected.
Here's what I'm going to say.
What's the response?
For 4 years, America fought the German and the Japanese, and we suffered to win World War II to make the world a better place. I don't want to hear anything about the moment. If you're not looking long term, you're missing the moment.
So you're telling Saudi to suck it up, essentially.
Suck it up. I'm telling everybody over here to suck it up. You got to suck it up to bring about real change. Real change doesn't come without some sacrifice. Now, this region is going to change one way or the other. There are two scenarios. If we follow through and help does show up, help is on the way, becomes reality to the Iranian people.
And we're talking about U.S. influence, U.S. money, U.S. troops?
We don't need troops, but we need military action probably. So a joint venture between Israel and the United States to help degrade the capability of the Iranian Ayatollah to kill its people would be welcome news in Iran.
Is that already underway?
Well, there's planning for that. The decision hadn't been made, but all these ships are not coming here because it's nice this time of year. So the point is, the military capability is being built up as I speak. The inflection point is weeks away, not months away. That's why I'm here. That's why I haven't slept, because it's either going to go really good or really bad. When Trump said, keep protesting, help is on the way, he locked in this region in a way where the choice is really clear. He said we need new leadership in Iran. He basically said that, the best way to make Iran great again is for the people to take over from the Ayatollah.
Does the U.S. have a favored candidate? Are we talking about
No.
Reza Pahlavi? Because he's around quite a bit.
Yeah, I like him, fine, but it's up to the Iranian people. Don't get ahead of yourself. The day after the regime falls will be complicated.
We don't do day after well in the U.S.
That's what you got to quit saying. We, it's not we, it's them. It's not my job to construct a new Iran. It's my job to give them the opportunity to construct a new Iran. If they want to go back to the Ayatollah ways, I'll be really surprised. I don't think these people are dying to have more Ayatollah in their future. I don't think they're out in the streets at the level they are to go backwards. I think they want to go forward. I think they could be a good partner. But who knows what happens? But I know it's up to them. See, when America tries to do anything more than give you a chance, we screw it up. And let's say they go backward. Well, we've lost nothing because they can't be any worse than the Ayatollah. I don't believe they will.
So you guys gave Lebanon a chance. Are you satisfied? Or do you think they're squandering it?
Iran goes down, Lebanon comes our way. Hezbollah is next. The mothership of terrorism, if it sinks, then Hezbollah will be weaker in Lebanon. There'll be a moment in Syria, everything will reset. But what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to make people understand the stark choice that we've created for ourselves. President Trump was right to say keep protesting. He was right to say help is on the way. That's what Reagan would have done. But you can't talk like Reagan and act like Obama. I said that. You can't do that.
Do you anticipate that's his plan?
No, I don't think so. I think Donald Trump is not Reagan. He's not Obama. He's Donald Trump. I like that. What I see in President Trump is a nuanced Reagan, a guy that uses economic leverage unlike Reagan would ever even think about. So I think Trump, in his own way, is incredibly clever of using leverage. But now these are the moments in history. It is upon us. This is February the 18th. In the next 30 days, if we don't have some resolution about the Iranian file, I think the moment may pass.
What do you say to those critics who say, this isn't why we elected President Trump? We asked him to make the economy better, not for regime change.
Well, you
in
really
Iran.
don't understand the role of the president in the history of America and the world. You
Do the
elected-
voters?
Yeah, I think so. I think people are behind him taking on Iran.
You do?
Yeah, I know. I've polled, nobody in the Republican Party likes the Ayatollah. He's a religious Nazi. He'd kill me if he could, because they're religious. We got the Ayatollah fine. But getting involved in the Mideast, always reluctant. We're not going to be entangled. We're not sending troops. But we're going to, I hope, send help to the protesters like we promised. And the payoff is enormous. So here's what I would say. If you don't realize the president is the leader of the free world when you vote for him, you're making a mistake. If you don't realize that the president of the United States has to deal with things that nobody imagined before the election, then you made a mistake. If you think you can ignore the Ayatollah and let him stay in power after he slaughtered 30,000 people and it won't affect you at home, you're really naive. If you think the Ayatollah doesn't really mean it when he says he wants to kill all the Jews, you're really naive.
Take a step back for me. The President's Board of Peace, lots of press, I should say, around what the future of Gaza will be.
The future of Gaza has two outcomes, with Hamas, without. If Hamas is not disarmed, there is no future in Gaza. Let me tell you why. Who would want to buy a $10 million condo in Gaza with Hamas controlling?
Is that the plan, really?
I don't know.
A real estate
well,
development?
right now, that won't work. Let me tell you why. Nobody's going to invest in Gaza if Hamas has any ability to come back. People are going to hedge their bets. They're not going. You can build a beautiful skyline, but underneath it, do you have the infrastructure for people to make changes? If Hamas is lurking around and they're a threat to the future of Gaza, the people say, I want to be different than Hamas, but Hamas is still around to kill them, we've gone nowhere.
What are you asking the UAE for specifically in Gaza? Is it a real estate play? Is it boots on the ground? What is it?
For me, it is a transformational moment to eliminate Hamas, who is the center of evil in Gaza. They have used their power to plan for the destruction of Israel, to radicalize their own people. I want to put Hamas on a timetable, time clock. So I'm going to go back and talk to President Trump about my trip. Then I'm going to encourage him, if we don't have a clear path for disarmament, to give him 30 or 60 days and call the question. They're dragging it out.
Which is part of the playbook.
In this same moment, we're dealing with Iran. So let's say we get Iran, in my view, right. The people win over the Ayatollah. That means that Hamas is far weaker. Let's say that the Ayatollah withstands all this bluster and he's still out there as a potential figure. Then I think dealing with Hamas is going to be hard, dealing with Russia is going to be hard, dealing with China is going to be hard.
Tell me about Russia. What leverage does America have?
We don't have enough. We can have more, easily.
How so?
We can pass my bill with Blumenthal, Senator Blumenthal, that would allow the president to put tariffs on any country buying cheap Russian oil.
And is the president behind that?
Yes, he's endorsed it, he's embraced it, he's ready to sign it. So my bill has 85 co-sponsors. Well done, Lindsey. Nobody else will say that. Senator Blumenthal has been great. It allows the president to put tariffs, not sanctions, on countries that buy cheap Russian oil and don't help Ukraine. India, he put a 25% tariff on India, Trump did, for buying Russian oil.
Yeah.
It's worked. They're going, before the war, they were buying 3% of the oil from Russia. After it went up to 30% because it's so cheap, Trump said, you buying cheap Russian oil keeps the war going. I put a 25% tariff on India for doing that. Now they're going back to buying no oil.
I even got Chris Coons to at least admit that this is
China,
this is behind this move on Russia.
I thought of this along with Trump about a year and a half ago. You don't fight Putin, you fight his customers. You fight Putin, but Putin is never gonna, he lives fine, he doesn't mind dying as long as he's not dying. But you isolate him through his customers. India tells me the power of this idea. So if we can pass our bill, Russian sanctions bill, in 2 or 3 weeks, and President Trump, with the blessing of the Congress, tells China, your behavior toward Russia has to change. If you would stop buying their oil, be the largest purchaser of Russian oil, then we'll have leverage to get him to the table.
Yeah.
And so I want to pass my bill. And second thing I want to do is when I get back, is if these negotiations hit a wall with Russia, which I think they will, I encourage President Trump to authorize training on the Tomahawk.
Yeah.
To increase military capability of Ukraine, to go after the factories that make the drones and the missiles inside of Russia. And that's what the Tomahawk would do, would hit these facilities. So a combination of more economic pressure through the Russian sanction bill, empowering the president to go after the customers of Putin in a more robust way, plus setting in motion the training of a new weapon system that will change the game militarily.
So we were just in Munich together. Did you call the Danish Prime Minister little lady?
No.
As has been reported in the press.
No, it's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Complete
Excellent.
bullshit. What Denmark did, I don't like. You know, when I say, if Trump's willing to build up Greenland, we should all celebrate, rather than getting in a huff over, you know, Trump's very unpopular in Europe, and the Europeans are torn between standing up to him and getting a pat on the back and working with him to get an outcome. So, no,
which behind closed doors they're having to do anyway. So
that's right. Yeah. So no, I don't. I try to be respectful. I think it's pretty forward-leaning that I'd like more women involved in foreign policy on my side.
Tell me this: what do you think your friend John McCain would think of the world today?
Oh, I think he wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. To be honest with you, he'd be a good commentator.
He'd have retired.
No, I think he would love this fight. But what I'm doing, I'm spending a lot of time with Trump. It's so easy to criticize Trump, but I'm actually spending time with him to try to help us working together to get good outcomes. So I've always been, Joe and John loved them both. They were my amigos, but I've been me. I'm not John, I'm not Joe. John McCain's vision of the world I buy into, a strong America engaged, but you've got to engage politically. And I do things that come with a risk. It's easy for the media to pat you on the back as a Republican when you're fighting other Republicans. I've been defending Trump because I think he deserves to be defended. He has got...
And that doesn't mean you think everything he does is right.
God, no. We argue all the time. But the point is, he is the one that's gotten Iran this week, along with Israel. And we need to understand this moment will not last.
Yeah. What does the future of the Republican Party look like?
Well,
because you have a huge division
depends
over
on
Israel.
what the Democratic Party does. If the Democratic Party keeps doing what they're doing, it looks very bright. If the Democratic Party got more to the middle, we'd be more challenged. We're doing okay because they're not doing okay. They're doing okay because we're not doing okay. Nobody finds either party overly attractive.
Call the midterms for me. What happens?
Yeah, I think, you know, right now the bets are we'll lose the House, keep the Senate. That's probably the smart money. Who knows? If the economy's better, we can pull, you know, Iran, that ends well, then maybe we defy history. But history would tell us would lose the House, probably keep the Senate.
What is your...
For the Republican Party, my goal is to take the best of Trump, to take the best of Reagan, take the best of all of them, and have a party that blends these ideas. You know, Reagan was a visionary, eloquent, shining city on the hill guy. Trump is Trump.
Yeah.
Can we get outcomes? Trump is more transactional, which is fine, as long as you get the right outcome. And does it matter that it's surrounded by lofty words if the outcome is right? Apparently, there are people in this business who care more about the words you use than the outcomes you seek. I don't care. I've let that go. Does President Trump do things that bother me? Yeah. Do I do things that bother him? Pretty much. But we're trying to get good outcomes. It doesn't matter.
Who is the heir to conservatism in America? Is it J.D. Vance or is it Marco Rubio?
I think you see a blending of all this. So Trump wants them two to run together. Well, that'd be a blending of sort of MAGA.
Do you see that happening?
Maybe. I'm actually fairly, if Trump can do this, if he can bring down Cuba, Venezuela, and Iran in 2026, that will be something bigger than Reagan.
Yeah.
I call Trump Reagan plus or Obama minus. You don't want to be Obama minus. Reagan plus would mean that Donald Trump led the world and us to do away with the largest drug trafficker country in our backyard, Venezuela. Communist dictatorship's been a thorn in our side since the 50s. And the biggest prize of all is the most radical regime on the planet, Iran with the Ayatollah. If all that collapses, then man, not only is the world have a real opportunity, the Republican Party has a real opportunity. Combine that with domestic energy production, lowering inflation, it could be a hell of a sea change for the future of the Republican Party. What is Trump? Trump is a guy that will use military force, but he doesn't like to get entangled. That's not a bad thing.
Tell me this, Gavin Newsom, threat?
The odds are it's going to be hard to win in 28. Okay, that's just history. Yeah, he looks
good.
Looks good, looks like the president. Will his ideas withstand scrutiny? I don't know. He comes to all these things, but somebody asked him, do you think we should have regime change in Iran? Nobody's ever asked him that. It's just ask him. That's a big question. I do. I think it should come from the people, not me.
Yeah.
Why do I want regime change? Because the regime in power wants to kill Americans. They have killed Americans. I want the new people who oppose the Ayatollah to have a chance. It can't get any worse. The day after, if we pull the plug and don't help the protesters, there is no help on the way. That is a day after that's generational disaster.
Tell me this, Senator, and final question. When you look at the last few years since October 7th, many people in this part of the world say what happened in Gaza does not align with Christian values. Killing children, killing mothers,
I'll be honest
killing
with
families
you.
who are not militants.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
Why?
Because what did we do in World War II? Did we think 1 minute about starving the Germans? Did we bomb every city into smithereens? So this is a war. No,
October 7th to World War II.
Yes, I am. This is an absolute existential threat to the Jewish people. What happened on October the 7th was 1,200 people were slaughtered, raped, and murdered and filmed by radical Islamists who would kill every Jew if they could, to the world. If you don't understand this is a threat to Israel's survival.
And then they flattened Gaza.
Just flatten it. We flattened Berlin. We flattened Tokyo. Were we wrong to drop an atomic bomb to end the Japanese reign of terror? Were we? So my view, if I were Israel, I would have probably done it the same way. Without military victory, there is no hope of breaking radicalism. We flattened Germany. We flattened Japan.
How many Americans
Wait a
believe
minute.
this?
Out of that,
the way that how many Americans think the way that you do?
I think most Republicans think the way I do.
Even young ones.
You're just out of touch if you don't understand Republicans, when it comes to radical Islam, is on Israel's side. It's not even close. Most Republicans are not. I hate to see innocent people and children displaced and killed. Yes, it's a TV war. We didn't have TV in World War II.
Well, now it's a phone war.
The behavior of the United States was to pursue total destruction of the enemy. That was our behavior. take Tokyo and Berlin. And so those people who are trying to say this is just another conflict, it's not another conflict. It's existential to the Jewish state. If Hamas survives all this, God helps the Jewish people. They're approaching Hamas after October the 7th as we approach the Japanese after Pearl Harbor. And that's the right approach.
Senator, it's wonderful to have you in Abu Dhabi. Thank you for joining me.
And out of that contest can be a new region, like there's a new Germany and a new Japan if we play our cards right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.